I don't know that I would call him scared right now. I think he's, you know, he's certainly concerned.
We've always told him he has a special heart. We have always told them that the doctors are there to fix the boo-boo that's in his heart.
We are very strong in our faith in Christ, and I don't know how people go through this without having that, truly.
Father, we ask you to carry Tommy through this surgery this day. We ask you to carry this family through this test this day.
This will be Tommy's fifth open heart surgery. So we had the three scheduled for his condition, and then the last one was a repair for this valve, which took it first and then gradually came back to where it needed to be, have some work done to it. He's anxious, he's nervous.
He was born with a condition called hypoplastic left heart syndrome. The left side of the heart is either underdeveloped or in some cases completely absent. There probably aren't more than 10 or 15 children a year born in the state of Michigan that have this condition.
If he sees fear on our face or he sees hurt in your eyes, then he starts to get anxious and scared and stuff too. So you do whatever you can to not show him that side.
I just whispered in his ear and just said that I loved him and that I wanted him to be brave and strong and that I'd see him when he woke up.
Any parent's worst nightmare, which is, you know, that something tragic happens, that we lose him, or that something happens where you can't repair it.
When they did start to wheel him away, I just had to walk away because it was just too hard.
Tommy's going to require either a valve repair or a valve replacement. If it's possible to fix it, we will do so. Any open heart operation is very serious, and this is certainly one not to be taken lightly. Entering the chest is right off the bat a big issue. Tommy's had previous surgery, so there's a lot of scar tissue. We have to expose the aorta and both vena cava, which are the main artery going out, main veins coming in.
Gracious God and Father, thank you for the hands of the surgeons. Thank you for the faith of this family.
We pray that you hold him in your hands, and we pray that
They're still in the middle of the operation right now, and I pray that everything goes uncomplicated from here on in. And even while we're down eating together, I find myself not really hearing the conversation that's going on at the table, and I'm just envisioning what he's going through right now, and
This is the one day when people ask me what can they do, this is the day I want him here.
Overall, it couldn't have gone better. I'm really pleased how he looks. I think this valve could very easily last him 10 or 15 years. Hi, everybody. How you doing? Everything is fine. So I replaced it, no problem, for the first 24, 48 hours are always a concern. You're welcome.
You're so awesome.
Okay again?
Well, feeling relieved that he's to this point, and just hoping that he continues to recover well.
It looks good here right now, but that can change in a flip of a coin. I mean, it can be that quick. He's doing great. He's doing great.
There's a lot that can be done for these kids.
Once we get through these blips of these surgeries, he's really a normal kid. He's not a tragedy. He's a blessing.
I just think it's so important to let other people know that there's hope.
Duck, 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 goose.
He's got a spirit of just loving life and wanting to be here and doing his best. I couldn't ask for anything more than that. He's got some moments here and there where he gets tired out, but overall, for what's happened to him, he's done great.
Take him right there. Go, Tommy! Come on, buddy!
I think that first and foremost that God just has a plan for him, and it's not to leave this earth yet.
I am a little bit anxious with today. He's been a little breathy, a little tired lately, and I don't know if that's, a parent's head game or if that's, something that we're really seeing.
A little more toward me, buddy. There you go.
What happened in the doctor's words was a miracle. We spent 5 years reconstructing his right side of his heart, which is where the valve was being replaced, and not using the left side. and that clotted off. And miraculously, the left side expanded and grew and just started working. And so now he's literally one of one in the entire world, at least documented, that this has happened to.
Where's my kiss? Kiss.
He enjoys literally every second of his life, and so that helps you, forget, and also serves as a reminder that that's what we should be doing.
Tommy, do you want a sticker?
Another one?
Yeah, why not?
Yeah.
Last night he graduated from kindergarten, and I found myself getting real emotional in the graduation ceremony because you don't really think that far ahead. And I was sat there yesterday watching him go up there and get his little diploma, and I thought to myself, geez, I don't think I really thought he'd make it, this far. And he's here, so there's nothing stopping him from, getting that high school diploma, and that'll probably come before I know it. So I do have high hopes for the future for him.
There we go.
I would say it wasn't until about March of this year that we started to notice some of his symptoms.
I've never hit this good in my life.
They found out that there were some pressures in his heart that were not right, and so he was his heart was working too hard. And so because of that, they've decided to put him on the heart transplant list. He's got quite a few antibodies built up, which would reject the heart that would come in. So it makes the match of the heart more difficult to find. We're going through chemotherapy treatment to try to kill some of those antibodies so that he'd be more apt to accept a heart instead of reject a heart.
His biggest thing is, well, when am I going to get my heart?
There we go. You're hitting him overhand now. There we go. There's a shortage of hearts right now, and it could be several months.
That could be gone? Oh, you gotta be kidding me.
My motto since Tommy's been in our lives that one day at a time is the only way to live, and it's the only way that you can live through a life-threatening illness with your child.
If God wants to call him home in his perfect time with his perfectly numbered days, he's going to stop his heart when he wants it to stop.
And there's been so many times where, we've been close to having a tragedy with him, and God has seen him through. When the call came in, it was 2 o'clock in the morning. I leaned over, I answered the phone, and they said, we think we have a heart for your son.
Mom wakes me up and I'm like, Mom, what are you doing? So she said, I think we have a heart. The doctors say, I think we have a heart for you. And then I just jump and I'm like, what? And I couldn't believe it. I said, God, if it's not the perfect heart for me, it's all right. But if it isn't, if it is, then thank you.
Right around 11 o'clock, they came and took him, and we wheeled him down, and then saying goodbye to him was heart-wrenching. I think it was right around 1:30. We were in the waiting room at the ICU, and I heard this noise that was loud but familiar. And I thought, what is that noise? And then all of a sudden I said, it's the helicopter. And I looked out the window, and sure enough, it was, it was coming in. We had been told that he made it through the surgery. He was off a bypass. The heart was beating. That's when I had asked Dr. Oye how bad did his heart look. He said, I don't really think it had too much time left.
That's when it really hit me. Thank God we got this heart when we did.
There you go.
We were waiting to go down to the OR. They said, Brandon Inge is supposed to be here about 11:30, and we need to take him down at about 11. And I said, oh, and we told Tommy, and Tommy was really disappointed. Matthew got to see him, and of course right away told him the story and said, my brother really wanted to meet you, and he had to go get a new heart. And one day I, got a phone call at the hospital that he had contacted the hospital and said, I want to come back. The door opened, and in he walked, and they were just, mouths opened and dropped.
He said, I've given you a lot of autographs. He said, give me your autograph on my arm. And he said, you'll be able to see your name on TV, and every time tonight when I get up to bed, I'm going to look down and remember you. We turn on the TV, and he comes up.
Brandon Inge will lead it off, and Inge tonight sporting somewhat of a new tattoo, as you can see on his right forearm, the name of Tommy, which is a young man that he met at Mott's Children's Hospital a couple of weeks ago.
Tommy was cheering. You heard the nurses station clapping. I mean, it was crazy. In the 7th inning, we're down 2-1. Brandon comes up with the man on first.
fly ball, left field and hit well. Soriano back to the wall. Inge has done it again. A two-run shot for Brandon. He hit a home run for Tommy. Tommy Schomaker. That home run is for you, bud.
Remember how you said you wanted to see a picture of your heart?
Yeah.
You kind of see it. Look up there.
Why is it all black?
Because it's got blood in it. It's pumping the blood.
To say thank you is so, doesn't cover it, you know, more. I'm so sorry for what you've had to lose, and we appreciate the selflessness in giving and saving so many lives.
Thank you and sorry for the loss, and thank you for my heart.
It's amazing what a healthy organ can do.
I feel like it's a rebirth, you know, and that he was really given a new chance at life. I have high hopes, you know, for him. I think my hope has been renewed.
None of us have any guarantee that God's going to decide when that heart stops. And he just, it seems with Tommy, keeps reminding us of that by going against all odds.
That's so fun!
And it's freezing. Awesome job, Tom. How does it feel?
Nice.
Tommy has been doing very well lately. He just had his 2-year anniversary of his transplant, and he's just this little boy that's all of a sudden entering life, but he missed out on some key years of development. Now that he has this heart that is a normally functioning heart and he's got this energy, he's just sort of, you know, exploding into it.
We knew his energy was going to be more, but that still surprises us how much more energy he has.
Hi.
In shooting baskets and running around, those are things that you just, it takes your breath away because you're just so not used to seeing that.
I'm anxious and I'm nervous and I'm excited. So I have all these emotions going on. Right away after we got home from the hospital after his transplant, my thoughts were always with that family. We want to do whatever we can to help them, to give them, you know, anything that would help in the healing process for them. Tommy has asked from day one to meet them. And the other night I said, how do you think it's going to go when you meet? And he said, well, they're going to want to hug me, I think, and they might cry, and you know, and it was like he knew all that, and I think he understands things on a different level than typical 10-year-old kids, and so he just seemed to get it.
I'm feeling good. Because I get to meet them.
We are here to meet the recipient family of our daughter Audrey, who has her heart. She was a very spiritual, bright, beautiful little girl who loved people, who would light up a room when she'd walk in it.
Audrey was basically a social butterfly. She always put a smile on your face. Everybody that met her adored her.
She had achondroplasia dwarfism. They had placed a shunt when she was 3 years old. And when she was 5, she became ill with her right side of her body going numb, and we didn't know why. She was very sick for quite a few months. We were in the hospital for about 25, 26 days, and she ended up becoming very sick. And they diagnosed her with chemical meningitis. They started giving her tons of antibiotics. And that night she woke up. She told us she didn't feel good, and we told her it was okay and that we loved her and we were there. And then that was it.
All the alarms were going off, and that's when all the nurses and a doctor was coming in, and she had multiple strokes, and then she wasn't responding to anything, and they basically said she'd be a vegetable.
My younger son wanted to do organ donation, and that's where we came upon this. That was the right decision to do, was because she loved people and she loved life. Her liver went to a 9-month-old girl, And her kidney went to a 23-year-old college student. And then, of course, her heart went to Tommy. I always hoped and prayed that the one who had her heart would be the ones we would hear from. That's where your heart and your soul comes from, and here we are.
For me to have Audrey's heart and that little boy and help that family out is just, it's kind of a surreal type thing. It's amazing. It hasn't really hit me, but it's almost like we already know him.
So many emotions, nervous emotions, excited. It's gonna be happy tears, you know, laughter. The one thing I would love to do is listen to his heart.
This is Tommy.
Hi.
Sean, Colleen. Oh. I told you there'd be some tears, right? They're happy tears. Yeah. Hi, guys.
I'm Casey.
We walked in and it was just overwhelming, but so wonderful too.
It was kind of a sensation of feeling at ease, like you've known him for a long time, and here's part of your family.
Bring some pictures.
Yes, we did.
Oh my goodness, this is all pictures of Audrey. Oh, look at this one. I love that one. She's looking at her.
Oh,
Her teeth in the mirror.
To see all these pictures of her and her life, and that was really cool, and I think it was good for Tommy too to see that.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Oh yeah.
Look at this one.
Oh, she was beautiful.
Audrey was always carrying around a little notepad, and she'd come into the living room and she'd be like, okay, your hair appointment is at 2 o'clock. Be there sharp. And she'd write down on paper, and you'd have to go to her room and go to the beauty salon and get your hair
done.
Brandon.
Brandon!
What do you say?
Thanks!
There you go, buddy.
We went down to watch the Tigers do batting practice, and Brandon Inge threw him a ball. Tommy catches the ball, and he's all excited, and again, he immediately said to me, I'm going to try to get signatures for this, and then I'm going to give this ball to Krista.
Sure. He wants to give that. He wants to give that to the donors.
Sure, I sure will.
Just right on that line.
He ended up then getting the ball signed by Brandon and asking Brandon to put a message on there.
The Minnesota Twins are proud tonight to welcome two families who are meeting for the first time, but have one very special connection. These folks are here tonight to share with you why the decision to donate your or your loved one's organs may seem alike.
Oh, thank you, honey. Tell her what it says. So read it. Brandon Inge.
Tommy, that was Tommy's idea.
It says thank you for Tommy's heart.
Brandon Inge.
Yeah. Thanks, honey.
For a child, someone of that age, to think of something like that is just so great. You know, it's just the best thing ever.
Thank you for letting me be able to meet you and listen to you. Oh my God.
Is it strong?
Yeah, and loud.
This is definitely not the end.
We will see each other again. We'll probably bring our extended families into the mix at some point.
You feel a sense of ease and a comfort, and that something out of a death, tragic thing, a really great thing can happen.
We're just blessed beyond belief by the relationships that we're developing and by the recognizing how every moment of life is precious, and you forget that.
Something beautiful can come out of such a deep, dark tragedy in your life. And it's just basically opening up a whole new chapter. This is the start of a new beginning. I mean, this is family that we never knew we had. People who are not organ donors, please change your mind to be an organ donor, because you really can make a difference in somebody's life.
To see Tommy running around and being active and having Audrey's heart in him, and it's just amazing that he's living life.
All I can say is he was meant to be able to stay, you know. He has a purpose and he was meant to stay here, and here he is.
Last night he graduated from kindergarten, and I found myself getting real emotional in the graduation ceremony, because you don't really think that far ahead. And I was sat there yesterday watching him go up there and get his little diploma, and I thought to myself, geez, I don't think I really thought he'd make it, you know, this far. And he's here, so there's nothing stopping him from, you know, getting that high school diploma, and that'll probably come before I know it.
I'm excited, I'm nervous, I'm happy, I'm brought to tears with some things, and got every emotion in the world right now. I literally would not be here if it weren't for Audrey and her family and the decision that they made. It's just shown me that, you know, God's got a plan and a purpose for everyone, and, you know, He's not finished with my plan yet. I told my parents a couple years ago before I graduated, I said, that's something that has to happen. I just had to have her, because I wanted to show her that, you know, Audrey still lives on through me, and I'm gonna do great things.
It's never ever lost on us that what we have in Tommy, they lost in Audrey, and that's never lost on us. Every time we look at our blessing, you know, you see that other side too.
That was one of my biggest fears, you know. Am I going to forget how she laughed? Am I going to forget her voice? But she's never forgotten. And she's so honored by the Schomaker family. And it just makes me feel so much, I mean, I'm crying, but it makes me feel so much at peace, you know, but it couldn't have been a more perfect match. And I always said, because she was little, she was gonna do something big. And here it is.
Good evening and welcome to Lutheran High Northwest's 40th commencement, recognizing the class of 2019.
You know, of all the stories that could be told tonight, one of them that is extremely significant that needs to be told tonight, a young man by the name of Tommy Schomaker. And you think about the fact that yesterday was the 10-year anniversary of him receiving a heart transplant. The donor's mom is with us. Krista is with us tonight. Can we give thanks to God for her being with us tonight too? Tommy, your story has been shared by so many families and prayers along the way. And miracle upon miracle, and yet coming to that point in time realizing that he needed truly a heart transplant. Finding a donor match seemed almost impossible. And 10 years ago, Tommy received that heart. That heart saved his life. That life is a life now lived through Tommy as well. What a gift.
Thomas Earl Schomaker.
I encourage you to search your heart and your mind for the passions that live deep within you. Do not be afraid to take a risk. Don't be afraid to take a chance to conquer those dreams. Do not let the risk of failure prevent you from living life's adventures.
Ladies and gentlemen, the 2019 graduates of Lutheran Northwest.
It was all that I dreamed of. Tommy's had a life of ups and downs, and it's just amazing that we got to this point, and I didn't expect to get here, so I'm very happy, very thankful.
You know, I thought maybe I'd meet them once and never get to talk to them again, but it hasn't been that. it's been a lot more.
Hearing her heart inside of Tommy and getting to be part of his life has been absolutely amazing. True blessing, true miracle.
The heart was going a million miles a minute. It felt like just leading up to it, but I got up there, it was kind of surreal, you know, I just didn't think I'd make it here. I actually made it, we actually got it here. I wouldn't be here without Audrey and without her heart. I could say thank you a million times and I didn't be anywhere near enough of how grateful and thankful I am.
You know, I wanted to take a moment to, you know, recognize why we're here today and what we're celebrating. To thank Krista for her selfless gift of life. You know, words can never express how thankful we are. Your gift not only saved 3 physical lives, but emotionally it saved a dad and a mom and a family and friends and a community of people that if we were invited, we could have filled a stadium. But I also want to recognize that not a day goes by that we don't pray for you and for your loss and thank God for your selfless acts in your darkest hour. So, thank you.
Not a day goes by about thinking about her or what she'd be like today, because she'd be 15, teenager, turning up the music, dancing, his spunky spirit. She was totally like that. She was a social butterfly. She'd walk in a room and make it known she was there. Her personality and her love for people was just amazing. So I guess that's how I would love for her to be remembered. And happy, always happy.
My name is Tommy Schomaker, and I am a forever grateful organ transplant recipient. Because of people like you and the selfless and precious gift that you give, that I have been blessed with an amazing life. So if we're in this world to make a difference, you all certainly have through your gifts and efforts that shine in people like me. So thank you, because you guys are the real heroes.
Yay, Tommy!
I'm gonna go to Michigan State next year. I'm not sure what for, but I know that place is gonna be a great fit for me. My parents went there. A lot of new memories are gonna be made there. I'm gonna definitely find my path in life there.
As a mom, yeah, you're gonna worry, and I probably am gonna be worried a little extra with him. But we've gotten this far, and we have to let him go, and I'm excited to see him do all the things that are ahead.
The perspective that we have just based on the number of things that you can't explain other than God has built that muscle to give you hope for the future, but also to be able to live in the moment, to be able to really live by the idea that none of us have a guarantee of when our last heartbeat is.
It's been 10 years, and in a way it's been in the blink of an eye that I've gotten here, and it's like, I mean, I made it. I mean, hopefully this is just the beginning. I'll have many more decades and 10 years to come. Oh my gosh, thank God I made it. Yeah.